All right, guys. Hello and welcome, friends. My name is Raymond Scholzeth. I'm based out of Chicago, but currently I'm stuck in Indiana and at a Starbucks. So I apologize for any noise in advance, but I'm going to do the best I can with what I got. I'm here with my co-pilot, Debbie Morrow. Debbie, say hi to everybody.
Hi, guys.
And and we met our friend Brad Selliers in our Facebook group, and he does some really cool stuff. So what we wanted to do today was talk to Brad, introduce what he's been doing, how it works, and let you guys know that you guys can do it too. So, Brad, I'd love to pass the mic and ask you to introduce yourself and say a few words.
Hey, thanks, Ray. Everybody hear me okay?
hmm
Awesome. So yeah, my name is Brad Salyers. I was a real estate agent in Oregon for many years, starting around 2013, and currently live in Orlando, Florida. And the way that I grew my business was through putting on events. And so it's a pretty interesting story. I'm happy to share it. But what happened was, as I got into the business with my wife, I realized that the hardest thing about the business was finding business, or in other words, having business find me, right? Having clients find me. So that was really the hardest part about real estate, or pretty much any business when you're an entrepreneur. And so I was trying to look at different ways, lead generation, all kinds of stuff that I could do to get people to find out about me, to find out who we were, so that they could hire us. And so in that process, I noticed that there were some in my community. I lived in a master plan development community that was an award-winning community with a couple thousand homes. Some people were putting on events in that community, and I saw other communities. The city was putting on a fantastic event. The city next door was putting on some really great events. And I said to myself, well, maybe I can sponsor some of these events. But then I thought to myself, well, that's maybe not very productive. And asked one of the HOAs if I could join in and sponsor one of their community events. And they said no. And so I didn't really like being told no. So I said, well, what if I just put on my own event? And there was a amphitheater park that had built right across the street from our house, and no one ever used it. It was a brand new park and had sat there for about a year, completely untouched. And so I thought, why don't I put on a summer concert series right there at that amphitheater park? It's the perfect size for it. And so that's what I did, and put on this summer concert series and partnered up with some people. I put it on the first summer. I put it on in 3 weeks, and it was a tremendous success. And so it really helped me to put myself on the map. It helped me to become locally famous basically instantly. There was a lot that I didn't know that would come up from it so quickly, being becoming a local celebrity, like the local mayor. Everybody knew who I was all of a sudden, and it really just took no time. It just took one event. And so it was life changing. It was business changing. And so I continued to do that and continued to put on those summer concerts and other events for the community. And it was just fantastic. And so now I just help agents to employ this into their businesses. I do believe it's the fastest way to become a local celebrity. Like I said, if you're not known, if you're not found, if people, you're an invisible realtor and people don't know who you are, you can post on social media every day, or you can send out direct mail, things like that, to try to become locally famous, to become locally known by everyone. But it does take a long time. But putting on an event does not take a lot of time, and it makes you instantly famous and an instant authority in your community. So just love to share about how I was able to do that, and how I can help you to implement that into your business, so that you can do it without making a lot of the mistakes that I made in my first series of doing this event. So save a lot of time. I can help you to maximize your events so that you will, put them on with the greatest amount of success, making the greatest amount of income and impact from your events.
Brad, I love it. Thanks for sharing. You mentioned something about visibility, and I think that in the world of real estate, you need to be seen and you need to get found. That's typically how you're going to be able to escalate your business. But it also seems like a really bold undertaking to say, "Hey, I'm going to be an event planner while being a real estate agent," right? And dive into that. So I'd love to hear from you, like when you made that decision, was there fear? Was there anxiety? Did you hire an event planner? Like, how did you kind of just grab the bull by the horns and get started with that?
Awesome. That's a great question. Yeah, so I actually just did it myself at first, but I didn't. I mean, I didn't do it entirely myself. I had a as a real estate agent in town, you know a lot of business owners. You do. You probably just don't realize it, or maybe you do realize it. You obviously probably know lenders and title companies and other people. I happen to know a gym owner and some insurance company owners. And so I reached out to my friend who owned this really large gym in town, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to put on this summer concert series. I'm looking for a partner. Is this something you would want to do?" And he said, "I'm all in." And so that was helpful. We planned out some of the stuff together, and then we divided and conquered a little bit when it came to selling sponsorships. But what I want to say is that and we did it in only 3 weeks, and it was still a tremendous success. So what I want to say is to real estate agents though, yeah, I was a little nervous, and the thing was that, or the thing is, if you're thinking about putting on events, you don't have to start with what I call a signature event, which is what I consider a large event. Okay, so say you're going to do like a massive brew fest, or like a seafood and wine festival, or like a home and garden show, or something like that. My summer concert series, maybe you're going to do a barbecue, festival or something like that, which those are very popular in the South. And so you don't have to start big. You can start small. You can definitely do smaller events. Say you're a part of like you have a Facebook group that you're a part of, like a mom's group, or some kind of fitness group or something like that. You can start out doing some of these smaller type events if you want, like say like a neighborhood block party or something like that. So it doesn't have to be a large signature event. I go all in, I go big, and I wanted to make the most impact in the fastest time possible, in the shortest amount of time possible. So I went big with a 6 night summer concert series. But the signature events are super awesome because you can make more happen in less time and meet more people and make a larger impact. So they are really, really fun. I do believe it's the most fun way to grow your real estate business and the fastest way to become locally known. But the other thing, Ray, is I think you and I talked about this, is that I think a lot of people may hold back or don't really think about, hey, I can put on events. Well, the city puts on an event, or like the Rotary Club puts on events, or the Chamber of Commerce puts on events. But I'm a realtor. But the thing is that you don't need anybody's permission to put on an event. You may need permission from the city or from an HOA, but that's just simply a matter of filling out a permit process. And it's very simple. We had a few permits that we had to fill out, one for the HOA, one for the city, for the police to be aware we were serving alcohol, and then we had to get an alcohol permit. That was it. And it was like a matter of $400 to get all three of those, and took about 72 hours to get it all done. And so, but you don't need anybody's permission. You can go confidently into putting on events. And to the last thing I would say to answer your question is, if you're not confident, if you're not super comfortable putting on events, you're going to make money doing this, selling sponsorships. And so you can very easily hire an event planner, and they can knock out lots of the logistics. They can handle the permits, they can handle the logistics of, setting up the layout of the event and things like that, and can be a tremendous support. So if you're a busy realtor and you don't have a lot of time and you want to do this, I would definitely say employ an event planner to do that for you. But if you like doing it yourself, it's less the work than what I think you probably think it is if you're doing it. But it's really, really fun.
So, Brad, I want to ask you, what were a couple things that you found very easy to do? And then what were a couple things that were extremely challenging to figure out as you navigated through this process?
Um, yeah, the things that I found surprisingly easy was selling sponsorships and making money, to be honest with you. I mean, pretty much everybody we asked if they wanted a booth or to sponsor the event or to become a partner sponsor, anything like that, everybody said yes. And so that was quite simple. I thought that was going to be much, much harder. And I made a good income doing this on the side that I really didn't know that I was going to be able to do. I just wanted, when I went into Array, I was just like, well, if I can just get the event cost covered, because I'm going to probably buy some signage to put up for the sponsors and do some marketing on Facebook to attract some people and put some signs up around the community, right? And some posters. So I thought, man, maybe that's like 3 or 4 or 5 thousand dollars. So if I can just get that money back. It turned out I made a lot of money, and it was really no effort. So that's part one. That was way easier than I anticipated. Probably the hardest part that we had was, sort of figuring out how to maximize the people coming into the event and capturing them and trying to turn those into real estate clients. And so I did learn that over time, and that's something I really just encourage agents to make sure you take care of, and that I will help you with in this process if you want to get started on this, to make sure that you don't miss out on that. And the other thing that we found difficult, Ray, was finding volunteers. That's maybe not so easy all the time, but we also found a way to get around that where we required the people who became sponsors or nonprofits, if we gave them a free booth, that they had to supply volunteers for us. And so that really made the big difference on the day of the event. So little tricks like that I can help you out with along the way because I learned it the hard way. So.
That's awesome, Brad. Thank you. I want to get back to zero to event in 3 weeks. That seems crazy, right? You ask any event planner how much time that they need. They need time to plan an event. How did you guys pull something off in 3 weeks? And then do you have images or videos or something that we can see?
Yeah, definitely. To be honest, we hit it fast. I got the permits out to the HOA. I said, "Hey, do you know what else I need?" I said, "I want to serve alcohol. Can I do that?" Went back and forth a few emails. They said, "Yeah, you're going to need to get a permit for the alcohol." We did that, and then a friend, one of the sponsors, knew a guy who could come and serve food and would come and sell food. He owned a Japanese restaurant, and so we reached out to him. He said yes. He came and was just a rock every event, and came and served food for $9 a plate. We had already had a popcorn maker that we used at our house, and so we just bought the popcorn and then some extra snacks and brought some coolers of ice and threw the sodas and water in there and set up a little square iPad situation on the desk, and my wife just was the cashier and my kids. And so what we had to find were bands though, and that was a little bit the trickier part was locating some local bands that could fit it in on their short schedule for the summer because most of the bands probably already had their summer filled out. So some of them had to move stuff around for us, but they did it and it worked out. And honest, I don't know how we knocked it all out in 3 weeks, but we did make some mistakes because that first year we didn't really capture the information of the people coming in like we should have, so that we could then continually, remind them that we were realtors, hit them with some newsletters and community event happenings and things like that that they would be interested in. So some mistakes were made, but we did put the event on. But yeah, I do have some photos. This is the highlight reel that from the end of our first event.
Hey everybody, it's Brad Salyers here. I'm here with my man Carlos Salazar from the Edge Family Fitness. I'm with Waterstone Realty Group, and we're the producers of the Music at Montague Summer Concert Series. And so we just wanted to give you guys a shout out, say thanks for coming out to this year's amazing 2018 Music at Montague event. It was a big hit this year, right?
It was, it was way bigger than last year, actually. I was surprised because last year, for our first year, it had an awesome turnout. And so this year,
we only had 3 weeks to put it on.
That's right, yeah. So this year we were seeing 700 to 1,000 local community members. People were traveling from.
So there's a little bit about that. You can see I mentioned in the video that we put it on in 3 weeks. So um
That looks
and
so fun. So, Brad, how many people ended up at this event? Like that one is an example.
so like I said, this was their summer concert series that we did, and we put on that we scheduled it for 6 of them a year, but we usually had to cancel one every summer because of the heat or because of the smoke. And so we usually ended up with only doing completing about 5 of those every summer. But about 700 to like 1,200 people would show up every week. Let me see if I can
Wow.
share. Yeah.
a lot of people.
This is let me share from one of the uh, sponsors here. So of course we had a mortgage company come out and were one of the sponsors because it was some people that we knew, right? So, and we did have an insurance company that came out as well, and ended up becoming one of our partner premier sponsors for the next year, which was awesome. Share this.
Hi, my name is Karen Oxner, and I'm a producing branch manager with Academy Mortgage Corporation. We have offices all over the country. My office is in Lake Oswego. We also have some great offices in Wilsonville, Oregon as well. Academy Mortgage is a mortgage lender. We are based out of Draper, Utah. We're in all 50 states, lend all over the country, really focus on our purchase clientele. Generously put together, sponsorship packages to make this free for the community, which is just fantastic. Music at Montague is a fantastic event. You've got to check it out. It's free for everybody, so it's just wonderful to come down and see people from your community, get to know people. There's food, there's great music. Music at Montague is just so much fun. I mean, it's a different band every single night. It's a great free event during the summer for the kids, and I just think it's great to get that sense of community, get to know people. There's kids, there's people who have their dogs, there are people picnicking, so it's just a fantastic event.
So yeah, you get the picture there. One of the things I'll say, Ray, that sort of caught me off guard too by the end of the putting these on was the impact that it had. I mean, I was trying to have some fun. I was trying to get my name out there so people knew who I was, but we had a lot of really cool stuff happen. Like my wife was speaking with a friend, and she ends up telling her, "Hey, oh yeah, my boyfriend," and she was like, "I met my boyfriend at Music at Montague," and so like you're actually impacting and making an impact on the community and people's lives and stuff like that. We ended up bringing in like a Silverman statue guy, and we brought in the juggler, and just lots of kid games and stuff around, and just made it just a really fun, impactful event. My kids still talk about it to this day. They were much littler back then.
I love it. That's so fun. We got a couple of questions in the chat here from Misty. How often are you recommending doing events?
So yeah, that's just really up to you in the event. Sometimes you may do like say a home and garden show, or like a art, or let's say a home and garden show, and you just do that once every year, and it's a big, huge signature event. Or you could do like, a cars and coffee event or something, and you might do that maybe once a month. You could do so it could be anywhere from just a one-off or once a year. And if you really find that you like putting on events, and you compound this with a newsletter, then you can create sponsorship packages for businesses where you're then going to help them get more exposure by your newsletter and by their sponsor packages getting in front of the community. And so you could put on a big signature event once a year. You could put on a few quarterly events and some smaller events, however you want to do it. Just it kind of depends. In the boot camp that we'll be sharing with you a little later, I go through a process of helping you to figure out what kind of event or events that you want to do based on your demographics and your location and your passions and stuff like that.
I love it. Thanks, Brad. Carla asked, how much do you spend on this concert series? But I also want to invert that and ask how much you make, because you mentioned that it's an income stream for you too.
Yes, awesome. I love that question. I tell realtors or people who are considering, you community leaders who are on this call, obviously want to impact your community and are leaders in your industry. And so I want to just say that, that impact in your community is awesome. And to be able to do this and you can literally get paid to market yourself through these sponsorship packages that you're going to sell by giving these businesses exposure at your events. And so, you saw from that video when Karen said, this is just really great because they put together some generous sponsorship packages that allowed us to come out here and get in front of the community. And that also enabled our event to be free. Now, you can even charge for your events. But to answer your question, Ray, we sold a partnership title package to an insurance company for 15 grand. Then we sold other booths for like $1,000 a booth. And then I sold, so I bought a couple kegs of beer for each event and snacks, and then we bought different bottles of wine, and we sold those as well. And so at these events, we generally made on a slow night $1,500, on a busy night $3,500 in sales from just that we got to keep. And then so annually, I probably made about, somewhere between 30 and 40 grand just from doing this event 5 times. And so that was pretty awesome. And then as far as cost of putting it on, like I mentioned, there really wasn't much. I mean, I paid $400 to rent the space from the HOA and get the permits. It was like 100 and something for the alcohol permit. The city permit really just was them signing off, and then the HOA charged me like $325. And then so that was about $500. The bands were like 300, and I ended up paying they were 300 to 500 a night, and I ended up paying an audio guy for $100 a night to come out and set up good audio for the band. So nightly it probably cost me around $700 at the most, but mostly usually around 500. So yeah, the one thing I want to say is that I was just trying to get my event covered, but when I discovered that I could actually make money doing this, it was pretty fun, because then I realized, well, now I can either pay a photographer or I can trade a booth to a photographer and have them come in and make all this content. And as you saw, that content that I just shared of the mortgage corporation, I actually just made for them. It wasn't really to highlight our event; it was for them to share, to showcase their own business. So that was part of the sponsorship package, that we would give them some content. And so that you can get this content done for free, trade out a booth for a photography, videography sponsor. And there's just all kinds of magic that you can do by putting on these events and make yourself just instantly locally famous and seen as the local authority in the community, somebody who really contributes to the community.
Brad, how did you figure out how to manage all of this? Because it seems like a lot of moving parts, right? And if you're an active agent and you want to do more business, you don't need a second job. How did you keep this from becoming a second job for you so that it became an income stream, a lead generation tool, community building, authority building, got you visible? How did you figure that out?
Well, the way I'll just try to explain that, Ray, is the first time's harder, right? So the first event is going to be the hardest one, because then you're going to go find, you're going to have to reach out to businesses and talk sponsorships. You're going to have to reach out and figure out the logistics. Like I said, an event planner can do that and handle some of that for you. Now, they're not going to sell sponsorships for you. And I don't recommend that you have them do that, because ideally you want to build those relationships with those sponsors anyway, because they may themselves use you then once they realize you're a realtor to buy or sell houses, or they may refer their businesses to you if they don't have someone already. So you do want to build those relationships with them personally. Plus, you want them to feel like you're providing something for them and helping their business, which you will be doing. And so, what was the question, Ray? I'm sorry, I think I got off track there. Uh,
It's
Oh, how do
okay.
I, yeah, how to not treat it as a second business. So the first time is going to be the hardest. If you're going to do this event every year it's going to get easier, and you're going to spend less time on it, because the next year you probably already have those same sponsors in place. You just shoot them an email, say, hey, you still in for this year? They're like, yay, I'm in. It's all good. And then, you already know how to do the permits. You literally just send an email, send it in, change it up for the dates, and then you're good to go. So the bands, they were all in every year too. It was just a matter of which date they could do it. So every year was just so much easier after that first year. So more volunteers, it was easier to find. So it is it is going to be a little bit of work, but it's a little bit of work that's fun. It's work that's actually impactful in your community and families and people's lives, and it's going to be an actual income stream that can be worth it. I mean, you could put on an event with, if you did a signature event like a fun in the park, and you could literally sell 100 booths if you found a large enough space for $1,000 each. I mean, you can do the math on how much money you think you can make doing that. So it's just a fun way. And once you get your face out there with the content and your face on these things, and you're on the stage talking and you're talking to people coming in and out of the event, there is no better way to build authority as a real estate agent, to show that you are the mayor of the town. I know quite a few people who do events like these, even just around here, and they do so many events and helps them to grow their business so tremendously and consistently that they literally are called the mayor of the town. People, that's what they call them. And so it's just a really fun, easy way. It is a little bit of work, but it's super duper fun and it pays.
How did you drive traffic to the event?
Well, the first year we just threw out some Facebook ad, invitations, no video. It was just, come to this event. We did get we traded a sponsorship for a print from a local printing company, and so we had them. They printed up signs and some posters. So we walked around town and we gave all the businesses posters and asked them to put them up, or we put them up at their business ourselves. And then, like the day before we went up and or the day of, we went all through town, the main avenues, and put signs up directing people to the event. And then we asked the businesses and the sponsors to share an email out to all their clients, inviting them as well. So a lot of different ways that that can be done, and that's something that I do make sure to help you with, so that you can maximize those opportunities in a boot camp if you want to join and check it out.
I love it. All right, we're going to catch up on some questions here in the chat. Misty had asked, and I think we covered some of this, but maybe not all of it. Do you help put together the sponsorship package, or is this what an event planner does?
Um, it depends on the event planner. I think, if an event planner sort of knows how to do that, then fine. But if they primarily, what you want to look out for is when you're working with an event planner, some of them just mostly do like celebrations, like weddings and stuff. And so they're probably not going to be all that helpful. You probably look for somebody more on an event planner that does things like, conferences or something like that. But I would just do it myself. And in my boot camp, I will go through and show you how to do that and the different ways that you can think about it and different offerings that you can do. One thing I would suggest is just not to undersell yourself. I think a lot of people have the notion that, oh man, asking for, $5,000 or for 10,000 or 15,000 for a partner title sponsor, that's a lot of money. But reality is people will pay it. They will see value in it and they will do it. So if you don't want to go around selling all your booths for $500 and then you end up making 5,000 on an event that, took you too long, and you really could have easily made, 25, $30,000 on. So part of the boot camp is my coaching. I will help you even one-on-one if you have some questions or bottlenecks, or you're trying to figure out what your opportunity is for you to sell to businesses in your area. And part of the boot camp class is that I do present, some templates of sponsorship packages for you that then you can just go ahead and copy and paste and implement into your business.
I love it. Awesome. Carla, I got your question. Brad ran a team. Lauren asked, what do you recommend for someone who wants to do an event outside of their community? As an example, beach cleanups.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can go as, far as deep as you want. It's really up to you. I was just in it to try to figure out how people in my area would know who I was and make the most impact right where I worked. But wherever your passion lies, if you think that you can do something that's going to help people and get your name out there, or if you're just into impacting the community, you certainly can do that. So it's just a matter of your reach. Can you locate people in those areas that help you and stuff like that?
I love it. And then Jamie asked, have you ever done comedy? I know Sabrina from News Junkies, not sure if they're allowed to do it because of contract, but just curious. And then what kind of bands?
Mm. No, I haven't done comedy. That's pretty cool. It's interesting when I talk to people, the stuff that they come up with for the what they want to do their events around. So that's pretty neat. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would think comedians are sort of independent contractors unless they're working for some company, but you would just probably want to check with Sabrina and see if she has any kind of contract. But bands, we just selected different bands, and that were different vibes. So one night was like an 80s band. We had a country band come. We had a Dave Matthews cover band come. And so, just we kind of ran the gamut there to try to please everybody with some music.
I love that. And guys, also, there's like a ton of free websites that let you source local talent and gigs and stuff like that. That's really cool out there to use. Okay, Brad, we're I don't know, a little over 30 minutes past the half hour. What else should we talk about, or can we go behind the scenes and kind of figure out how do you manage all of this?
Yeah, I mean, the things I would just highlight is that again, you don't want to be invisible. The thing with me was when I started doing this is in my community, I saw listing signs going up for my competitors in my community week to week or month to month. And, I felt like I was a pretty well-known person in this community, I thought. And so it was really kind of frustrating and I was tired of that happening. And I thought, what is the way where I can reach these people so that they know who I am because I was feeling invisible. And if you're invisible, you're literally, if people don't know you exist, they literally cannot hire you. So the very first step, the hardest part about real estate or any business is being known and being found. And this completely, covers all of that. The second thing is they have to like you. And so if you're putting on an amazing community event where people are having a lot of fun and you're showcasing that on social media and everything, people then obviously are going to like you. You're on stage talking. Now you're building authority and trust, and people automatically assume if you're on stage with a microphone in your hand, you are an authority in the community, a leader. And so that's going to give you that know, like, and trust all in one event, which is really super powerful. So I would just highlight that it's if that's the way you're feeling and you like to go to events, which I like to go to events, if you find yourself taking you or your family or friends to events, then you should put on events because it's really the most fun way for you to grow your real estate business and to just let people know, hey, I'm here and I do business and I like to impact my community and make my community a better place. So that's what I would say about that. But yeah, so what we got going on is, like I said, I like to help realtors because to do this in their to implement this in their business, and I did make a lot of mistakes. And so what I've created is a boot camp and event flow system. And so what you'll find is that you're going to have to piece together some things if you put on events, right? You're going to have to put some kind of registration page out there. You're going to want to post some social media content about your event. You're going to need to put sponsorship packages together and then present those to potential businesses. And so with all of the sort of different moving pieces, I've put all that into one package for you just to make everything super duper simple. And most importantly, in the boot camp, I will teach you and coach you personally so that you can ideate your event. And then by the end of a 90-day period, you will have not only your event planned out, but completed. So that by the end of 90 days, you will have a complete event launched and done, and will have made a difference in your community one way or another. And so what I put together is, I don't know if you have the slides, Ray, but I can try to find some or just show you like on the back end a little bit about what that looks like.
Sure, I can pull them up for you, no problem.
Let me see. Hmm. So yeah, what we put together, and I'm happy to show you a couple of these things on the back end, is what I'm doing is a weekly boot camp. I've just had a lot of friends say, "Hey, Brad, man, can you show me how to do this?" Because I really think I might mess things up and make some mistakes, and you will be surprised. Even just a couple weeks ago, I spoke with a lady around here. She puts on a lot of events, and I asked her, how is she doing with capturing and converting these? And she was like, "Oh, I'm not really. I'm just putting on the events." And so that's a huge mistake that people are going to make. So that's why I put together this event flow system. The boot camp, you're going to have all my experience. I'm going to walk you through the whole thing. You can book calls with me one-on-one, but I'm going to have group training sessions and coaching sessions to walk you through how to put on an event. And so we're going to have a weekly boot camp coaching class, and it's going to be just a step by step. So here's step one, here's step two. We're going to put together your website with your registration forms. We're going to put together your sponsor package. We're going to put together what your event is and how, if you're going to sell or if it's going to be free and who it's going to be for and all of that stuff. We also have a private mastermind with all the people who are in the boot camp. You can go to the next slide if you got one. So we also, like I said, there's the on the image there's the sponsorship packages. So we got some templates in Canva that you can just then utilize and copy and paste. I've also created, we've had created Elizabeth Eventcraft AI. So she is specially trained on all things events, whether it's from helping you to ideate event or create sponsor packages or create social media content for preview or post or emails, anything like that. She can do it for you. So she's a massive time saver. I also have an event planning spreadsheet. So this will help you to budget your events and also plan out with your sponsors and your timelines, and everything that you would possibly need to plan an event is in this beautiful spreadsheet with an incredible dashboard. So this all-in-one system is built out for you. One of the things that you're going to need is a way to take payments either at your event with Square or also with Stripe when you're, sending out invoices to the sponsors. So that's all included in here. We've got website templates that we've designed for you for events, and you can just add your logo, change some of the information on it. You can even use AI to just have in our product, in our software here, to have you design your own really, really quickly with just some small pieces of information. It's got all of your data tracking, and you can send invoices and track attendees with an app. And then we do have registration and ticket sales order forms. And so we have templates for those. And those are really easy. You can design these in just a couple of seconds. And then you can either take payment with them or you can make them free and have people register. And then a QR code designer is built in here. Just takes a couple of seconds to set up a QR code that then you can use on your advertisements as well. And then we have other event website templates. And then there is a social media post scheduler built in here for you as well. So that's just a nice little bonus. And then we have a newsletter creator for powerful follow-up. I think a lot of people miss the mark when it comes to not following up with these folks who come to your events. And the newsletter is going to be your best way to do that. And so we've got that designed and packaged up ready for you as well. And like I said, integrations, all kinds of integrations, Stripe, Slack, your socials, QuickBooks, even Zapier, and just many, many more if you need it. So the solution is, your entire event funnel all completed in our boot camp in 90 days and get you launched and get you out there. Stripe integration to take your payments and invoices, funnel and website templates, calendar, QR code builder, mobile app, social media scheduler, everything you could possibly need in one box, in one system. So you're not piecing together everything with Eventbrite and Calendly and all these other sorts of things.
So Brad, I want to jump in right there because it
Yes,
looks
sir.
like a lot of effort went in to create all that stuff. Whereas
Wow.
I'm sure right out of the box, you pieced it all together.
Say that again.
I'm sure it took you quite a few iterations to figure out how you
Mm.
build that system, right? Versus piecing it all together. What is the number one thing like jumping in and having all of this in one place is going to do to help people get started with events?
Well, there is everything in the box. So that's what's pretty awesome is you have me who made massive mistakes, but then fixed those mistakes and really put on amazing signature events in my community. And so you have me to walk you through step by step so that you don't make a lot of these mistakes that I made and that you would probably make if you didn't have a coach walking you through this step by step. And then secondly, having this all pieced together, put together in one place means you don't have to delay being like, well, I got to go find Calendly. Okay, well, now I got to set this up and then I got to set Eventbrite up and then, this and that. Everything is just right here for you. And basically in the coaching program, when I walk you through it, we're going to walk through with these templates and everything. And that's going to be part of your homework. Okay, this week, go ahead and adjust this website. So we get this set up and then come back. We'll show you how to do the form and make sure that that's all set up and squared away. There's also automations in there to make it easier for you. So once you set it up once and you put the event date in, then you can send out powerful reminders so that you maximize your event with the people to show up and things like that. So I just try to make it as easy as possible so that you don't have tech overwhelm or anything like that, because I'm literally going to walk you through it. And we also have 24/7 support on the software. So if you ever need anything 24/7, you can even hop on a Zoom call. But it'll
I
save you
love
tons
it.
of time.
I love it. I think Debbie asked a few great questions, and I'm going to make an assumption that, like, how do you collect attendees' contact info? that's from probably one of the landing pages or something that comes with the system.
Correct. So I've got these templates for these website funnel landing pages for you. I just suggest you put maybe 2 or 3 pages on there, but that's the way we've designed them, with just a main page with the information. The second page is maybe for sponsors. And so sponsors will click on there and then they can download your PDF of your sponsorship package, or you can just list it right on the site and then they can book a call with you. And then the third one is just maybe you ask for volunteers. So, but it's just a form. So there's 2 types of forms. There's a registration form. So if you're going to do, say, a free event, then we're going to set up a form for you in there that's just a pop up, or it can be right on the page. They can just click on it. They fill out their name, their email, or their phone number, and then they submit, how many tickets they may need for your event or whatever. And then there's also, it can be an order form. So you can either charge for your event, or it can be a situation where it's still free and you just use the order form. And then it's automatically is going to send them out a confirmation that, hey, you got this many tickets or whatever it is. So it's very, very simple. It's dead simple.
Okay. And then Debbie asked the question that I think everybody's been dying to ask, which is how much business are you able to track back to the first event? And when does that actually materialize, I guess would be the right way to say that.
Yeah. Well, obviously, some real estate deals take a long time, right? And people aren't quite ready. When these folks come to your events, they're not like an internet lead or something. Lots of these folks are just local patrons, and so many of them may never do anything. But what happened to us, like for example, was there was a girl who never bought a house with us. She just kind of stayed renting, but then but because she came to our event, she friended me on Facebook, and then suddenly she's sending me referrals and says, "Hey, my cousin's ready to buy a house. So I told him you were the only guy in town." And so they, messaged me through that Facebook, and then set me up with an appointment with them. And then she sent me other referrals as well. But the business owners as well that you talk to are going to be able to refer you business if you build a strong relationship with them. And then some of them, what we had was that they were actually looking to buy or sell for themselves right now, because they had a situation here and there. So we were able to capitalize on those deals right away. And then, like I say, Ray, where people mostly fall off with this kind of thing is they don't capture the people's information, or if they do, they don't send them any information. You've got to stay top of mind with these folks, and you've got to send them value information. And so we are going to show you how to send out a newsletter that's very high value information that's going to be local to the community. It's going to be stuff that they're going to want to read, but it's also going to have your realtor information in there for buyers or sellers or local community events and local things happening. In this CRM, you can also build a blog as well. So if you want to do that, you can do that very simply. But you want to just make sure that you're making the most of this, and by following up with these folks with really strong value information so that they will call you. And we do have some tricks and ways to do that and try to drive them to your calendar, and maybe some short videos and things like that I teach in the class as well.
Okay, awesome. What's next? What do we do? What's next, Brad? Do we want to peek behind the scenes? Do we want to drop a link for everybody to talk to you? What's the best option for us?
Yeah, let me find the link here, Ray. So I got this doing the boot camp. It starts on the 1st of July for the first class. So if you want to, I'll drop this in the chat. Is that where I should put it?
Yeah, put it in the chat. That'd be great. And then guys, we would love to hear any questions that you have. So whoever wants to unmute and ask questions, please open forum.
So what I'm going to do is I'm dropping two links in here. One is for my calendar. So if you're not quite ready, or you have some more questions, if you're not sure events will work for you in your community, then go ahead and book a call with me, and then we'll talk about that and see if it makes sense. Most people I ever talk to, it does make sense. It's just a matter of putting on the event that makes sense for you. But the first one is gonna send you directly to the boot camp. So it's $9.99 one-time price if you want to get started. It comes with all the event flow system in a box, free for 3 months. And then after that, there's no contracts. You can cancel anytime. If you don't want to use the software that builds everything for you to help you to manage your system and your data and all of your forms and registrations and Stripe and social media planner and all that. You can cancel anytime, but it's free for 3 months. After that, it'll be $199 a month. If you don't want to pay the one-time $9.99, I do have a 3 payment setup system for you on there. So if you want, you can go ahead and select that, and then that's $4.99 every 30 days for 3 months. And then at the end of that 3 months, again, if you want to keep the event flow system, it's $199. But if you have any questions, let me know. Love to answer some questions.
I love it. Yeah, guys, does anybody have any questions? Nothing? Brad crushed it, huh?
Have any of you put on any events? Or are you thinking about putting on events? I'd love to hear what your thoughts are.
I always say that if you're going to be an agent, you need to be event centric, right? Just expand the open house, take it to another level.
That's a good way to think about it.
Any questions? Guys, I'd highly recommend you book a call with Brad and at least have a conversation about the opportunity.
Looks like Amy has a question. I think she got her hand up.
Oh,
Kind of a
hi, Amy.
question,
Go-
but also a statement. One thing that I considered doing last year and I ran out of time was hosting a longest open house for the Alzheimer's Association. They have around this time of year a longest day celebration, because of the summer solstice. Just
Hmm.
kind of to emphasize how long and tiresome caregiving a person with Alzheimer's could be. So then you just get sponsors and have an event, you know, around whoever your clients are. So it's just something like that. You can look into a nonprofit if they
Mhm.
have a day or and it can be national or local, where they try to do something and you can sponsor a portion of it, however you want to. So that one I happen to come up with because I'm doing the seniors, which I think most of you are.
Mm.
But it's an easy way to get started because there's a system behind you, if that makes sense. That kind of you can bounce ideas off and they help you with some of the advertising and stuff.
Mm. That's good, Amy. What I will say about that is what we did at our events is we actually provided a different booth each week for a nonprofit to come to our event, and we also gave them a little bit of stage time so that they could talk between the band's sessions and their intermission, so that the people we could raise awareness for them. And so that was one thing that we did, and it's something that I would just encourage anyone to do if you have some local nonprofits that are doing some good work, to incorporate those somehow into your event if possible. But sounds like what you're talking about is being a sponsor at one of the nonprofit events, and you can always be sponsors at other people's events and pay the fee and go and have a booth and set that up. And we did that a few times, but I just found this was more my business centric, and then I could control the community impact, and then I could become and be seen as the local authority because I'm the one producing the event rather than just being a
Sure.
sponsor. So that's
This one isn't actually, it isn't their event. They're just behind the event, but you get to hold the local event
like a local chapter event.
for them. Get kind of,
Oh, that's
yeah.
cool.
I mean, there can be a million of them going on anyway,
Oh, I
just a
see.
thought.
I think I get it now. Yeah,
So
that
you're like
makes
a
sense.
satellite event
Yeah.
for them.
Oh, that's cool. They already did all the work for you. Right on. Looks like maybe Misty has a question.
Hey, Brad.
Hi.
Hey
Misty.
there. So my question is around, you're talking about taking payments and Stripe and stuff like that. Like how are you going about, are you just able to collect those into your own account? Are you suggesting that someone sets up a business outside this? I am a real estate agent locally in the or outside the Orlando area. So tell me a little bit how you have that structured, or what do you recommend?
So we were just an LLC, and so we, for our real estate business, so we just incorporated it right into our business.
Mhm.
If you think you're going to find yourself doing a lot of events and you want to separate it, you could obviously start your own a secondary LLC or something just for your events if you wanted,
Mhm.
or you can just, use that income as part of your income that you're going to show for your real estate business, as well as just marketing aspect of it. I'm not a tax attorney, so I would consult your tax official attorney or your
Right, but
tax.
just even getting started on your first one, like maybe you weren't sure what you were gonna do or whatever, what would you still recommend having to have that set up? Like, I'm just thinking like you're taking money for people for sponsorship, like, I don't know, just
Yeah, I mean, it's really up to you. If you already have if you already have something set up and you just want it to be a part of your business, then you can just set up your Stripe with connected directly to your bank account, and it'll drop it
Mhm.
right in there. Personally, I found setting up, LLCs and other things doesn't take a lot of time necessarily. And depending on the state and where you live, can be a pretty simple, quick and easy, painless process. But some states are a little more difficult than others. But yeah, I don't know. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, guys. Jimmy, we see you, bud. You're up.
Jimmy's on mute.
Unmute. Okay, can you
There
hear
we
me
go.
now?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Jimmy Duran, Keller Williams, Las Vegas.
Awesome.
The concept sounds fantastic. There's always lots of different things going on out here in Las Vegas.
Mm.
A thing that concerns me, I mean, it sounds phenomenal. Great way to source leads and such. The beer and wine, even bouncy houses these days. Everyone is so sue happy. How do you protect yourself?
Yeah, so if you are going to go do some event like that where there's the possibility of somebody getting hurt, I probably would just have a local attorney draft up, something that's in the terms and conditions or whatever, that when they're
In the
registered,
registration,
they
maybe?
click the little box that says they read the terms and conditions, that you're not responsible for any injuries. But again, I'm not an attorney, so I would consult with them on that. But yeah, I mean, there's a city. If I was going to do something right now where I am, I would do a fun in the park event where I would try to sell 100 booths for a minimum of $1,000 each, and I would have a section for kids that's massive, massive bounce houses, and that would be fun. And so that's what I would do. I would pay, whatever, a few $100 to an attorney and have them draft that up that I could put on my website and then have them.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
And
Thank you.
then
you're welcome.
and then I would also have that attorney sponsor the event. So when you need
Yes.
him later, he's readily available.
I like that.
Misty, yeah, Misty, we see your hand up.
Uh, so another question is, how do you determine what to, especially if it's your first time, how do you determine what to charge for sponsorship? Or what you would, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just going to depend on some things like the demographics. It's going to depend on the how large you think your event is going to be. It
Mhm.
could be, and that's really going to be determined, I think, potentially by the space. So if okay, well, we measured it in this space, we can fit probably 20 booths or whatever comfortably and still have space for everyone, then okay, you got 20 booths, and so you think the space, you're going to have to do some guesstimation and just sort of see how it turns out. I wouldn't worry about like people being concerned about how many people are going to show up or anything.
Okay.
Because, if you do everything right, people are going to come. I mean, we put on our event in 3 weeks, and our first event, we had like 700 people show up. And so if you put on the event right and you market it right in the beginning, people are going to be there. And like I said, I don't know if you were on the call earlier, but we really didn't have anybody say no to us, even in the very first summer when we were selling these sponsorships. And nobody even asked how many people were coming.
Okay, good to know. Awesome,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, the boot camp starts on July 1st. If you're interested in having somebody coach you and walk you through this, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but we do have an onboarding call. So we are going to completely walk with you through setting up all the software so that it's a no-brainer, that there's no tech overwhelm or anything for you. So that, and if it doesn't get all done on the first call, you can do that as many calls as you need to, but it's not as hard as it looks. And that's what I'm here for, is to be able to walk you through it as well as coach you through making sure you make the most of these and are putting on great events.
Awesome. Guys, any more questions? Anything else to share with us? Brad, thank you. This is awesome. I'm super excited to get behind the scenes and take a peek.
Yeah. Me too. I love to see what these events, that people do when we work together and put on these events, and it's such a surprise the different types of events people come up with and what they like to do. So,
Yeah, and I think the hardest part is starting, right? So this event in a box system seems like a great jumpstart to just get going. And once you do one, it's kind of rinse
mhm,
and repeat and get better as you go. And of course, you're going to meet more people, expand the opportunity, expand the venue. I don't know, it seems really fun.
absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's totally life changing. There's a lot of agents. There are a lot of agents who put on events, and it's becoming more popular. So I would just say, if you are not doing them in your community, it's maybe just a matter of time till another realtor starts doing events. So if it's something that you can do and find a little bit of time to go out there and do, it's a huge payoff and a huge reward for you.
I love it. Awesome. All right. Guys, if you don't have any more questions, Debbie and I will give you guys back your days. And Brad, what do you want to leave everybody with?
Just like I said, you got the link there to book a call if you're on the fence, for some reason, one way or another. I'm happy to show you the back end of the system, show you how it works, or answer any questions for you if you're concerned about whether your events will work, or if you're not sure what kind of events you can put on. I can help you with that. So, but everything else, getting it all done, getting the system in place, so that you can maximize it, and putting on the events. I assure you that we'll get this done with you, and you'll get that first event done, and you're going to be just so grateful that you did. And it's a money maker. You can get paid to market yourself. You won't have to ever pay for marketing again, and you're going to become locally famous, and everybody in the town is going to know who you are, and that's going to tremendously help you to grow your real estate business. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun when you're doing these events. So I encourage you to do it one way or another. So.
I love it. That's awesome. All right, guys. Debbie, do we want to leave anybody with anything?
No, I think we're good. I did drop the link in the chat for anybody who wants to watch the replay, link for our YouTube channel where you can go subscribe and see all of the replays.
Mm.
But other than that, thanks for joining us today. It was nice to meet all of you that we haven't met before. And hopefully we'll see you on Thursday's virtual coffee if you haven't been to that before. I'm going to put the link in the Zoom right now. All right, you
Awesome.
guys.
All right, everybody. Brad, thank you so much. Thanks for
You're
sharing with
welcome.
us. Everybody, thanks for staying with us till the end, and we'll see you soon. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.